So this will be recorded just so everyone knows, and we will share it on the Yay community and on our YouTube channel after the fact. So you can always go back and watch all the insights there. And we also share the presentation as well. So let's get started. As said, this is episode 4 and the final episode in the Yay community's sustainability series. We're happy to once again be hosting this with the International Trade Center's Trade for Sustainable Development team. We have, as hopefully you're all familiar with, our co-hosts, Florence Moser and Akshata Lemay, who will be leading this session today. And as usual, we will be sure to answer your questions at the end of this session, but don't wait until the end. Feel free to add your questions throughout the chat, and then we can review them at the end. Please keep your microphones on mute. And if you have any questions or concerns for how this session is flowing, you can post them in the chat, but please keep your microphones muted as we go through this discussion. So without further ado, Akshata, I will hand things over to you.
Thank you so much, Claire. Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to this 4th episode of the webinar series. My name is Akshata, and you might know me already by now. And with me also is Florence. Both of us work at the Trade for Sustainable Development program. And joining us also is our senior advisor at T4SD program, Mr. Matthew Lamole, who would be here to answer any questions that you may have at the end of the webinar. So today, together, we will be addressing the topic of our discussion, that is innovative ways to embrace sustainability. So let's begin by moving on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So what does sustainability mean to you? In the first 3 episodes, we have extensively discussed the concept of sustainability and various ways to integrate it in the businesses. But we also understand that it's important to be aware of the ground realities. And in order to address that and to give platform to the voices from the ground, from all across the world, we had created a small video last year for our event, the Good Trade Summit. And this video featured MSME owners from our network to share with us what sustainability means to them. So let's hear what they had to say about it.
To me, good trade means equal market opportunities that emphasize on reuse and recycle for sustainable environment.
In my view, good trade is fair price for farmers and equal opportunities to everyone.
Buen comercio es origen,
Salut, est-ce que vous recevez des gens qui parlent en français?
es trascender.
Poner en valor y en equilibrio personas, campo y clientes.
So good trade means going green and sustainability.
It enables us to better deliver on our products.
It provides better market access and fair influence to our products.
Protect farmers.
Good trade looks beyond the business's profits.
Good trade leads to exchange of skills and knowledge.
El buen comercio valora y recompensa debidamente el trabajo de las mujeres.
El buen comercio no promueve la corrupción.
It does not promote corruption.
It means equal pay and job opportunity.
Good trade means doing business with love.
Well, on that inspiring note, let's begin our today's webinar and take a look at what we have on our agenda today in the next slide. Thank you. So we will be looking at innovative ways to embrace sustainability. And in order to do that, firstly, we will have a very brief recap of how to get featured on the ITC's virtual network platform, which is an easy way to adopt sustainability at the business level. If we can just be on the next slide, please, Claire. Oh, thank you. So after doing that, we will share with you our experience at T4SD, where we have tried to embrace innovation and new technology to support our projects. This will give us an insight into the newer trends. And we will do that with two concrete examples. Firstly, a pilot that we ran with the World Economic Forum and the Lensing Group, whereby we use blockchain to map supply chains onto the sustainability map network. And secondly, the SCI platform's farm sustainability assessment, which is a pre-competitive collaboration for sustainability. Thirdly, we have something interesting for all of you, is that we would be sharing a real case study of an SME from our T4SD Peru hub that implemented new ways of operations and running operations, and as a result, increased its sustainability. And then finally, before we conclude the series, we will also share with you some interesting resources that you could refer to continue this journey of learning more about sustainability. So with that, let's move on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So I guess most of you by now are familiar with the ITC sustainability map. And our T4SD team at ITC has been working on voluntary sustainability standards, or VSS, for about 10 years now. And over the course has developed this free online platform, which enables the users to better understand the sustainability landscape, including VSS. And what we will do today is only revisit the virtual network module to understand how to sign up and create your profile on it, since it is one of the easiest ways to incorporate sustainability in your business. This is an innovative platform, and the best part is that it can be accessed and used for free. So let's very briefly go through the steps that are involved and move on to the next slide. What you can see is a snapshot of various companies that are already listed on the virtual network as per based on their geolocation. In the next few slides, we will see how you can create your own company profile as well. So thank you. Well, as you can see on the screen, these are the various steps and they're quite straightforward. So let's look at them one by one. So the first step would be to, when you decide to sign up, would be to click on register for free. The second step would be to enter all the information that is required, such as your name, email address, contact information, etc., and click on create an account. In step 3, once you have created the account, you would have received a registration link in your inbox with the email that, of course, you used to sign up. And once you click on the registration link, you will essentially verify your account and get access to your personal dashboard on the sustainability map. So let's see what happens next in the next slide. Thank you. So once you have access to your personal dashboard, you can see there's an option to click on Get Featured. When you click on Get Featured, you will have to fill in your company information and complete the profile before you can make it public. And once you make it public, it allows your company to be visible on the virtual network to all the other businesses that are listed there as well. So this is more or less the quick recapitulation of how you can get your company listed on the virtual network. And since we had covered this in more detail in our previous episode, we would like to take like a quick survey or a poll here to understand how many of our audience members have already created their profiles on the virtual network. So if I can request Claire to please show us the, thank you so much for the poll. So as you can see on the screen, there's a question: have you signed up to the Sustainability Map Network since our last sustainability series virtual session? So you can respond yes or no, no pressure. It's completely fine. If you haven't done it already, you still have time. You can explore the features a little bit more and create your profile. If you have any questions, if you encounter any issues, you can of course get in touch with us. We will be sharing our email addresses as well. So we thought we can just try and understand if our audience members have gotten the hang of it yet, or if there's any further explanation required. So maybe a few more seconds and we can see the result of the poll. Wow, so I think it's good that some of you have already signed up, and I see 90% of you haven't done it yet. So it's not a problem. Let's see in the next slide a few advantages that you can see if you like what are the advantages basically to creating your company profile on the virtual network. So if we can move to the next slide. Thank you. So for the audience members who haven't signed up, these are a few advantages that you may have. Is firstly, you can get access to new business opportunities. Secondly, you can, by sharing your contact information, you can gain visibility, and buyers who are looking to source sustainable products and services can actually get in touch with you. Thirdly, you can engage in sustainable production and trade. And finally, you can use the feature of self-assessment, whereby you can check against specific standards as to where your business lies vis-a-vis its sustainability journey. So these are a few advantages, and we would definitely encourage you to use this platform, as it is also available for free. And with that, I think we can move to the next slide. Thank you. So now that we have already had a look at one of the easiest examples at the business level that you can that you can implement, let's look at more concrete examples to understand the upcoming trends in sustainability related innovation. We will share with you our experience at T4SD, also a real case study of a Peruvian company. And in order to help us understand that, I would like to now call upon my colleague Florence. So over to you, Florence.
Hi, thank you very much, Akshata, and hello, everyone. Good morning. Very happy to be here. So if we can go to the next slide, please. Thanks very much. So we'll now give you an example to really show you where sustainability in trade is heading. So in late 2019, ITC explored if and how Sustainability Map could provide a transparency and traceability platform capable of visualizing blockchain-based supply chain data from multiple companies and sources. So essentially, the question was, how could we use blockchain to map supply chains onto the Sustainability Map network? And so the pilot was an initiative of the World Economic Forum's platform for shaping the future of advanced manufacturing and production. That's a mouthful, and created in collaboration with Everledger, so an independent technology firm, and the Lensing Group, so world market leader in the production of renewable wood-based fibers, mainly used in textiles. And so the idea was to map businesses involved in the relevant value chains on the Sustainability Map network, and then visualize relations and product flows between value chain actors based on blockchain transaction aggregates. And here you can see an example of what it looked like to your right. So as a result of the pilot, it was possible to visualize these transactions, which then ultimately creates the transparency and the traceability that are necessary for sustainability. And basically, this example really shows that more and more sustainability is framed in terms of transparency and traceability, both of which are really essential to inject additional sustainability into value chain. Because if we know where the products are coming from, then it's actually much easier to make changes in supply chains, to have them more resilient, etc. In the end, if we can go to the next slide, please. Thank you very much. So in addition to traceability and transparency, both of which are essential to sustainability, we also mentioned last time the potential of pre-competitive collaboration for sustainability. And the example I'm going to share right now is another example of successful pre-competitive collaboration. So T4SD partnered with Platform a food industry initiative supporting the development of sustainable agriculture worldwide. And together, they developed the Farm Sustainability Assessment. So a unique framework used by leading food and drink companies to source sustainability produced agricultural materials. And so FSA facilitates the sharing of information on sustainability assessments from the buyers to their suppliers through a self-assessment of 112 questions. And the innovative platform hosting the FSA creates effective and efficient supply chain collaboration right down to the level of the farmer. And this example is a really good idea for the power of collaboration and innovation for sustainability. So now that you've been given a bit of an overview on some of the major trends in innovation and sustainability and trade, let's now go to a very concrete case study. If we can go to the next slide, please. Thanks very much. So now we really go to the enterprise level. And so we stop talking about, big trends, but we really look at a real life concrete example of an SME in Peru that decided to rethink its production processes to become more sustainable, more efficient, and ultimately more economical. Let's go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So we're going to look at the case of Pebani. So Pebani Inversiones S.A. is a Peruvian company with 21 years of experience dedicated to the production and export of medicinal plants, superfoods, oils and resins, and natural ingredients native to the Peruvian Andes and the jungle. And these are ingredients that are used in the food industry, the cosmetic industry, the tanning industry, and the food supplement industry. And so Pebani is an SME that is part of our T4SD Hub Peru. And so our T4SD hubs are a network of hubs that offer concrete, scalable solutions for today's most pressing sustainability issues, including climate resilience and resource efficiency in 6 countries. Let's now please go to the next slide. Thank you very much. So in order to understand how the company became more sustainable, we first need to have a look a little bit at the context. So Pebani's shareholders, managers, and collaborators have the vision of building a company that can contribute to environmental sustainability while being fair to its employees. And that's the social sustainability that we talked about in previous webinars. And so this company has several clients in the US and Europe who really value the high quality organic products supplied by Pebani. However, the company was facing issues of high energy and water consumption. And so as a result, they signed up for the T4SD Hub RECP coaching program. So what does RECP mean? Let's have a look in the next slide, please. Thank you. So RECP stands for Resource Efficient Circular Production. So resource efficient means production that seeks to use the resources of the planet in a sustainable way and minimize the impact on the environment. And circular production means to maintain the value of the products and the materials used in the processes as long as possible. So that means that waste is minimized and that when a product reaches the end of its life cycle, it's used again to create more value. So for this, the methodology implies that the production processes are analyzed, and then in terms of water use, energy consumption, and waste. And then this info is then used as a baseline to determine the initial environmental performance of the company. Then several options for good practices and improvements are identified, and a strategy is then put together. And if we go to the next slide, please, you'll see that in a really visual manner. Thank you very much. So this is the visual rendering of the process in a nutshell. And this is really, because the process itself obviously has multiple steps and is quite complex, but this is basically it in a nutshell. So first, you develop a better understanding of the production processes. Then you identify inefficiencies. Once that's done, you assess RECP measures based on cost-benefit analysis. And finally, devise a strategy followed by a communication plan that will be used to attract consumers in even green financing. So this is an overview in a nutshell. And then now let's go back to Pebani in the next slide, please. Thank you very much. So Pebani was led through these different steps by an expert, by a coach. And the entire thing was led by our colleague, Sandra Cabrera, who manages the T4SD Hub. And so here's a glance at some of the measures adopted by Pebani. So first, they placed aerators to reduce the water flow rates at the taps. And then in terms of energy reduction, they implemented good energy efficiency practices. They installed monitors and sensors to avoid having areas of continuous lighting in downtime. Also changed the high-powered lights with more energy efficient LED light bulbs. And then they're looking into a more efficient drying system that relies on infrared technology. If we can go to the next slide, please. Thank you very much. So the company was able to save money, but of course that's not just it. It was also able to increase its sustainability performance. And Pebani is actually, in that sense, really a good example of the business case for sustainability. And if you have any more questions, about the actual processes, the measures, get in touch with us, and we will be happy to connect you to our colleague Sandra, who's leading the T4SD Hub in Peru. So with that being said, let's move to the next slide, please. Thank you very much. So wrapping this up, what have we learned today in terms of SMEs? So first, we've learned that tools like ITC Sustainability Maps virtual network module offers the user a platform to network with potential buyers and suppliers, showcase certifications, and take self-assessments against VSS. And that in itself, the network is an easy step towards innovating and more sustainability. And then we've also looked at other options. So in terms of kind of bigger trends, where is sustainability, trade, and business going? So it's going more towards leveraging the power of technology and blockchain. It's going also towards more pre-competitive collaboration as well. And finally, and then this links back to our case study, it's going towards finding new ways of doing business. And in that case, in our case of Pebani, it's the RECP methodology. So thank you very much. This wraps up our presentation. If you'd like to see more, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about technology and trade and sustainability altogether, make sure you check out this panel of day 2 of the Good Trade Summit. In which we have an executive from IBM, a startup entrepreneur, and a blockchain expert from the WTO who share a little bit of their experience and good practices. And I think for now, we've reaching the end of our presentation, but we're still here for questions, and we look forward to them. Thank you very much.
Great, excellent. Thank you to both Akshata and to Florence for that presentation. So as you all know, the purpose is to discuss innovative ways to embrace sustainability. So we hope that this session has inspired you to think about how your business can be more sustainable. I see that lots of questions have been coming in throughout the chat. So I don't know if Mathieu, if you want to add anything before I hand it over to my colleague Yang to field some of those questions.
No, not much to add at this point. I mean, just a big thank you to Florence and Akshata for their presentation, and indeed a big call for everyone on the call to actually go to the sustainability map and see to the best what they can benefit from the tool. Even if few of you have already dialed and connected, there are tons of interesting resources at your disposal there. So we all encourage you to make use of this free resource that's been built for you and that is there. And of course, right now, I mean, we are there live to answer any questions you have, and that's all pleasure. Thank you.
Great. Over to you, Yang.
Hi everyone, bonjour. Parce que je comprends que nous avons des francophones avec nous aujourd'hui, n'hésitez pas à poser des questions en français. Okay, so now I'll answer the questions in English. So I can see a couple questions coming in through the chat box. So the first question is about the RECP. So can RECP be customized for any agriculture business activities?
Well, the short answer to this question is yes. We do have a coaching program that is a coaching for each company that joins the program and the hubs. So when we operate in a certain country, it can be Peru, could be Ghana, could be any country. When we manage to put together a coaching program with the hubs on sustainability, and there is an RECP methodology that is requested by the companies, then yes, we do customize the approach. And that is for any agribusiness activity, but also non-agribusiness activities. It could be textiles, could be handcrafts, could be many other things. So the coaching is personalized. Obviously, the methodology is similar from one sector to another, one company to another, in the sense of looking at starting with the workflow that Florence presented, the diagnostic, and then answering some questions, identifying areas of improvement, finding the next steps, identifying how much it costs to actually do these improvements. So the process is the same, but the content and the customization is very much for the beneficiary companies one-to-one.
Thank you. And then we have another question about the SAI platform. So is the SAI platform assessment, the FSA, accessible to everyone?
So yes, the SAI platform assessment is accessible to everyone to do a self-assessment, but there is also the buyers that start the process of asking their suppliers to join their network and then to submit their assessments. So what is available to everyone is the questionnaire. It's like a global public tool. Everyone can play with it and understand where they stand in terms of sustainability. But in order to really submit their assessment to a buyer, they need to be invited by a buyer and connect. So within the SAI platform tool, there are those linkages to potential buyers that can be made, but it is not automatic that it is a market connection, right? The self-assessment tool is available to everyone. The market connections is only for the buyers to decide if they connect or not with their suppliers.
Understood. And then another question is about T4SD Hub, asking how can I sign up for T4SD Hub?
So in that sense, we only operate with funding from different donors, and the donors, the big donor agencies, tell us in which countries we can operate. So unfortunately, it is not like a free call from any company saying, hey, I am based in this country and I need to join a T4SD Hub or an RECP program. We can only offer that in some countries. Now, there is big demand, so we are expanding in new countries every year. I think on the Sustainability Map website, there is a section that discusses T4SD hubs and that indicates in which countries those services are available. In any case, the resources, the methodologies, the tools that exist, they are available to everyone. Even if there is no T4SD hub already in your country, you can still access the resources through the website and contact us to see how it goes. But in order to really benefit from a coaching program, well, that coaching program needs to be paid for by someone, and those are the donors of ITC, and we work with them to do it in as many sectors, as many countries as possible. It's just that, there are not those billions of dollars to help us really work with everyone. But please contact us and we will be able to tell you if there is a hub in your country, in which case, obviously, we can see how to work together. And if there is not, we can still share a lot of resources, very interesting with you.
Right. And then someone's asking, are there innovative ways for garment factories, to be more sustainable in the garment industry? Yeah.
Yes, I mean, there are different innovative activities that we have been able to witness. I mean, sustainability at large, it's not just the environment, it's also the workers and the labor force. If we start on garment facilities and environment, well, environment means climate change, it means heat, it means flooding, it means destroying let's say the warehouses where you would have garment pieces of apparel that are stocked. So for that, there are innovative ways that facilities have developed to prevent any damage from, let's say, floodings or overheating of the warehouses and destroying the materials or the products they produce. On the environmental side, it's mostly climate related, I would say, in the garment. It's not so much being able to grow because it's not a growing, it's a garment sector. But on the social and labor force, we worked as an example in Morocco, and in that sense the facilities were overheated because of the sun, and so the workers, they were sick, they could not work. I mean, it was totally impossible to work there. It sounds like not so much of an innovation, but at least adding on the roof certain ventilators that could express the very hot air from the facility to the outside and creating more fresh air for the workers inside the facility was already a big achievement. So rather than having, let's say, a third of the time that the facility would be closed because it's too warm in it, they could actually work 100% of the time. So that simple measure of creating ventilators at the level of the roof of the facility actually increased by 30% the efficiency of the facility and the productivity, and then the workers were more happy as well and more efficient in the work. So you see, when we talk about innovation, it's not necessarily something totally new coming from the moon. It's sometimes a very simple and very implementable small action that we didn't think about before. And this is what typically can be implemented to change the life and to boost sometimes even by 30% the efficiency of the company. So those are just two examples for the garment industry. There are other innovative ways of enabling other sectors to grow and to be more sustainable. Just one more example. It's not in the garment, but just in the agriculture. There is a big usage of fertilizers and chemicals, right? And in order to reduce that and to be more sustainable and less polluting, there are technological innovations and applications that work on your smartphone. You take a picture of the crop, and the picture goes to Google Doc and Google images and compares your picture with the pictures of actual diseases of your crop. Okay, so there are applications that make that comparison of your picture with an existing picture in the Google images that shows that there is a disease. So rather than spraying tons of chemicals and hoping that it solves the issue, if you have a disease on the crop in the agriculture, there are those technological apps. They almost cost nothing, and it enables you to really put the targeted substance if you need to put some chemicals, but only what is necessary to solve your problem. So this is also innovation. It doesn't cost much, but it changes the life, because rather than creating a huge mess with tons of chemicals, that can be used. So, but that I mean, I have tons of examples. I'm not going to talk for 2 hours on this. So maybe there are other questions.
Sure, thanks. I can also see a couple questions asking about the sustainability map. I know we already covered that, in this session, also previously, but might be well just to quickly summarize, say, the benefits and also the access to the sustainability map. Yeah.
And maybe just emphasizing also that this is the number 4 of the webinars, and the others are also still at your disposal for all the participants on the YAY platform. Okay, so the recordings are there, and there are more details about sustainability map and the benefits and the access. But just as a very short overview, sustainability map is a repository of information on standards and codes of conduct, tools that exist that companies can use. Okay, the platform is free of charge. It can be accessed at sustainabilitymap.org, and within that you can search per country, per sector, per product, per sustainability area, what is the most relevant to you. And there are a list of standards that appear. You select the ones you want to review, and then you can go for it. You can learn, and you can even do a self-assessment. It is free of charge. You do a self-assessment saying, hey, if I would like to become organic in agriculture, if I become more sustainable in garment or other sectors, that standard could be interesting. You do a self-assessment and you understand what to improve. So that is the sustainability map. Big piece on standards and codes of conduct. A second big piece on sustainability map is the market trends. So it shows you the appetite for buyers, especially international buyers, for your product once you are sustainable. And those market trends, they can also be searched per product, per country, and per category. And the third big piece of the sustainability map is the network. And that was also touched upon today in the presentation from Florence and Akshata. The network is where you create a company profile. It's like your Facebook account, but you create it in the sustainability map. You are present online. You can show where you are, which products you sell, and hopefully, and we, with our help, we can connect you with potential buyers. We cannot guarantee that once you have an account, automatically you have more business, but at least it is a free tool that you can use to create a profile and to do good things, to connect with new partners. So that's the sustainability map. And again, go to it. It is there for you. We've been building the platform for the last 10 years. It is also referenced on the YAY community platform. So it's part of the resources there. And it's really for you to use.
Okay, and also we got a question like asking if we could give an example of how an SaaS model business that is sustainable can be outlined on the map.
To present that on the map, I would recommend rather that we have a discussion, a kind of a more one-on-one discussion with our staff, and see how those models could be referenced on the sustainability map. There are different ways to present the good work that everyone is doing, including their sustainability assessments. The thing is, we at ITC, we cannot put an additional certification on a self-assessment. Okay, so when you self-assess and you say, I am good, look, it looks like I'm as good as fair trade or organic, we at ITC, we cannot say you're right and the market needs to recognize you as such. Okay, there is a big certification business that we do not enter into, but we can guide and provide the capacity building and the necessary advice to do the assessment and then to present some of your efforts on the sustainability map. So it is possible, but this would require maybe some discussions that we can take also offline.
Okay, and then we got a very specific question about the T4SD hub in Ethiopia. Do we have one in Ethiopia?
Unfortunately, no, we do not have one in Ethiopia yet. I can already tell you that. But nevertheless, I think, as I mentioned before, in countries where we do not have a hub, we can still provide resources and materials and advice. And also, of course, bearing your request that it would be great to have one in Ethiopia, which means that the next time we meet with the donors, we can always flag that there is interest and demand, and hopefully we would be able to implement something, in which case, through the newsletters and the announcements, you would be informed that we would be opening up a hub. But in the current moment, we don't. But we can offer you some presentations, materials, and like the RECP that was mentioned before.
Okay, I just saw another one coming up for the Nigeria. So do we have a hub in Nigeria?
We don't have it in Nigeria either. I'm sorry. Really
so
sorry.
Yeah, you can see the need is there. So that's great. And then another question is about the mentoring, provided from ITC or from T4SD specifically. Do we provide mentoring regularly to the business owners?
Well, we provide mentoring, or let's say support ad hoc from the website, but it is not mentoring in the sense of a complete coaching for all the companies. Okay, we are a team of maybe 5 people in Standards Map, and you can understand the demand. So indeed, ITC altogether 30 people, 300 people maybe. We do have consultants, but we better work with trained trainers in different countries and the hubs and the coaches, but those are people that we contract. We have a contract with them so that they can actually leverage and multiply the resources of ITC. But for all the basic requests and the queries and can we have access to the materials, and you have a half an hour on the phone, yes, we can do that, especially that you are already all in the YE community platform one way or another. So you have a privileged access, let's say, to us. Okay, so you can actually contact us, and we'll make sure that you have responses from us. But we cannot, let's say, offer free consultancy services like a few days a week for a few months to all the companies, because we just do not have the time for that. It's not we don't want, we would love to, but we rather work with donors that help us contract specific trainers and coaches. We train them, and then they deliver.
Okay, I think I can actually close the Q&A session with a final question. You already covered that a little bit about innovation, like different ways to do innovation. So does innovation actually always imply integration of high-cost technology?
No. And that's the point. I mean, technology is definitely an area where we have seen a lot of innovation, like this issue of the pictures I mentioned, right? The pictures of the deceased. But technology is not the only source of innovation. Innovation is very much about thinking differently of the same issues and applying maybe something in a totally different, that usually is in a different context, but you twist it and you change it. And this is really where innovation can kick off. So you don't need to necessarily make a lot of investment. You do not need to make a lot of technological changes. Sometimes innovation is just, instead of doing 2 things sequentially, you do them in parallel, or you do the one before or the other one before, and sometimes very small changes, but unexpected changes actually change radically the way the business is operating. And this is why it's important to work as a community, as a platform. This is why having all of you in the same ways of having webinars and discussions helps, because one person can have a great idea, but if it can be shared by all the others, with all the others, then you have innovation that spreads even faster than COVID-19, which is actually better. So we can hopefully help you with this, and don't be scared about being innovative and changing the ways you think.
Thank you very much. And also thank you for the questions from the audience. So back to you, Claire.
Yes, thanks for the great questions and the interesting back and forth. As you guys heard, lots of room for growth with these T4SD hubs. So you have the presentations on the Yay Community Resources section, which Yang has shared the link to. You have there Akshata, Florence, and Matthew's email. So don't be shy. Also, we saw from you guys that you have not yet signed up to the T4SD Hub to self-assess and to connect with other entrepreneurs around the world working in sustainability. Please do that. It takes very little time, and the more connected, the more opportunities to be inspired by others in the network and to seek out business opportunities. This is the last session in the sustainability series. So for those who've been along throughout the process, thank you. We really hope this series of sessions has been useful to you, and that you've been able to see all the tools that are available to you to enhance the sustainability of your business and to connect with others. Again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. If you're not yet a member of the Yay community, which we specifically are focusing on youth entrepreneurs, be sure to create your profile so that you can be updated about all these webinars that we put on. And thank you so much. And I hope that you have a great rest of your Thursday. And you can find this recording later today on the platform. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.